Technical difficulties, folks. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, we're doing it this early because I am dodging EO Wright's little testimony there, which is a whole bunch of bullshit that has already been debunked. But, go off, EO. Freaking really. But anyways, back to another case and another threat of defamation. This time the JRC is threatening to silence NeuroClastic, as you all know, due to an article that they put back out in 2021 where they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals and practitioners in the field in regards to the treatment program at the JRC. You're going to see the link to their public statement in regards to the silencing and bullying tactics of the JRC right there in the description box. It's going to be alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut to Joe Schwarzenberg Center Down petition. Also below, at the very last line, you are going to see the link to the GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding NeuroClastic folks so that they can face these bullies, these bastards, these torturers down. If they want to file a law defamation suit, fine. Prove what you do is not torture JRC, if you can. All right, and if you would like to get involved, of course, seek us out. We're on Autistic Twitter. Actually, Autistic, Stop the Shock, JRC, Sue Me Too hashtags. We'd appreciate it, okay? Now, folks, when we talk about the JRC, speaking of, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? It is 3:35. That testimony is working on making me brain dead. So if I stumble over my words, stare at the TV and go with a what the fuck look on my face, or take a left turn and take another left turn, apologies in advance, alright? Okay. So let's go to where we left off yesterday. And I know I read this sentence already, but it's so good it must be read twice. NeuroClastic did not allege that the practice is illegal. We are alleging that it is inhumane and undermines the rights of disabled individuals to access consent or revoke consent. We advocate that it should be made illegal. We expanded on our position. If you have to shock someone for trying to remove a device that is strapped to their body and designed to give a skin shock much more painful than a cattle prod, you have not obtained their consent to shock them. How anyone is coming to the conclusion that these children and adults would choose to be strapped to a backpack they wear 24 hours per day, even during sleep and showers, and shocked with a current many times stronger than a cattle prod is a mystery. If you shock someone for attempting to run away, you have not obtained their consent. If you shock someone for attempting to remove a shock device, you have not obtained their consent. All of JRC's residents are all capable of consent, even in the absence of having access to using words as communication. Their attempts to resist the GED are evidence that they do not have consent. That was from NeuroClastic and their article, which we have linked. 900 ABA professionals have weighed in on the use of electric shock at Judge Rotenberg Center 2021. The autistic people at NeuroClass will not, under any amount of pressure or subjected to any form of aversives, retract the aforementioned. Oh, boom. I saw what you did there. Resistance to abuse is communicating that consent is not given. Non-speakers and people without reliable communication have the capacity to protest and should have their access to autonomy and self-determination respected. Fucking amen. Thank you. Thank you. Strength of the GED. JRC claims that our description of the GED, or even quoting what others have said about the GED, is inaccurate, again justifying the accusation by citing that the courts have ruled the GED safe. In case it was unclear, we're advocating against those court rulings. Thank you, because it's bullshit. You go watch that Andre McCollins video. You go listen to him fucking scream and cry out and beg, and you tell me that they're safe and they don't hurt. In case it was unclear, we are advocating against them. Exactly. Torture is not safe. Corporal punishment is abuse. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture declared the GED to be torture. The GED is not safe for the disabled people experiencing it. It is not safe for the disabled people witnessing it. It is not safe for the professionals using or witnessing it. It is not safe for the broader community to live with the awareness that state-sanctioned torture could be inflicted on our disabled loved ones. This bone-chilling report details the technical and sadistic approach taken to maximize the pain caused by electric shock aversives. In choosing parameters for the GED's electrical stimulation, our goal was to maximize deceleration effectiveness while minimizing any possible adverse effects on the skin. Wherever the skin shock literature did not contain information concerning decelerative effectiveness, parameters were chosen to maximize perceived aversiveness as determined by tests on volunteer members of the BRI JRC staff. They're designed to hurt people. Period. Israel Van Hine and Connolly, a remote-controlled electric shock device for behavior modification, the JRC publication, number 92-3. You remember when that JRC parent organization tried to tell us they have all this scientific evidence? Remember when I told you all of it was written by the JRC? My case in point, right there. Right there. In fact, Lydia Brown addressed this in their 2014 article in Washington Post. It's illegal to torture prisoners and animals, but not disabled people. I've been saying it for fucking years, folks. We treat goddamn war criminals better than we treat the disabled people in our country. And my fucking case point and example is the JRC, and that this continued existence is still going on in 2022, and we still have people defending it. Alex Kronstein, in a 2019 article in the Nova Scotia Advocate entitled About Electric Shocks at a U.S. Institution for People with Learning Disabilities, and a bit about electric shocks at a U.S. institution for people with learning disabilities, and a bit of Nova Scotia Angle. A Nova Scotia Angle notes, there are two shock aversive devices used at JRC. The main GED delivers 15.5 milliamp shock of up to 2 seconds. And the GED-4, the one that Andre McCollins is on in that video, gives shocks of 45.5 milliamps. By comparison, most police tasers deliver shocks of 2.1 or 3.6 milliamps. The GED is harmless and has never caused harm. The cease and desist letter from the JRC makes that unforgivable claim. No JRC client has ever been harmed as a result of the JRC's behavioral treatment program or particular use of skin shock. Further, the JRC does not torture its clients in any way, and claim in the publication JRC has murdered us by electrocution therefore is false. Tell your 6 dead fucking students that, JRC, because we got the court documents, you bastards. I know what you did to those kids. I know what you are doing right fucking now while we're talking. We all know. We've been in it for years. We've dug through the court documents, and we've looked at your fucking so-called consent decree from 1986 over 6 ways from Sunday. Do not fucking tell me to not believe in the evidence in front of my eyes. Just trust me, brah. Okay? Fuck you. For a small percentage of its most difficult to treat clients, the ABA Intensive Positive Reinforcement Treatment Plan is supplemented with a harmless contingent skin shock as a consequence for refractory dangerous behaviors as a treatment of last resort, and only when no other treatment works and when approved by a Massachusetts probate and family court. the probate court on an individual basis. Sir, go to jail. Yeah, it's bullshit. You can sit there and say, but the courts support it. The courts are not fucking medical doctors. They are not psychologists. They are not psychiatrists. They are not neurologists. They are not the teams of fucking doctors there. Okay? They're judges. They went to law school, not medical school. And they have no goddamn place, advised by doctors or not, to be making any fucking medical decisions on the behalf of any goddamn student at any goddamn time. I am sorry, but I have fucking had it with, well, the court said it was okay. The courts used to say that burning people when someone would accuse them of being of a witch was okay. Was it? Not the flex you think it is, Massachusetts, especially you, Massachusetts, or does the name Salem mean nothing to you? Just saying. We also have put the lie to the quote-unquote treatment of last resort by having in our possession, given to us by the actually stunning and brave Jennifer Masumba, who waived her HIPAA rights in order to put out her infraction sheet over what she could be tortured over. Literally blinking too much, folks. Or doing this in front of your eyes. Or stopping work for more than 3 seconds. The list goes on, and I do have that behavioral sheet in my description box. You can go and look it up if you don't believe me. Just because a court says it's okay does not, you can sit there and say it's legal so it's okay all you want to, but that's not how it fucking works. A judge has no place, none, to be making decisions in this field. Period. And the fact that they will rip away somebody's autonomy, or even rip away the rights of parents to be able to look after the well-being and rights of their children. That's what the JRC does. Moving on, the threat. NeuroClastic's statements are false and defamatory and are causing harm to JRC. JRC hereby demands that NeuroClastic cease and desist from any further publication of these false and defamatory statements about the JRC's treatment program and immediately remove all false statements from public view. JRC reserves the right to pursue all legal rights and remedies against NeuroClastic and seek damages. We await confirmation of prompt compliance with demands in this letter. I recommend you consult with a lawyer before contacting me. JRC cease and desist letter. Here we go, folks. NeuroClastic will remove nothing. You can't silence us, you sick bastards. We're on to you. We're never letting go. We're never going to stop until we get those victims out from underneath your claws. Are we understood, JRC? There is nothing you can do. I will fight until I die. That's it. I will never stop. We, advocates from all over the world, ASAN, NeuroClastic, Disability Rights International, the ARC, for God's sake, all these organizations, we stand as one against you, and we will not stop. But moving on. Our statements were true according to the best of our knowledge, were heavily referenced and or were direct quotes from survey responses. Most of our claims can be substantiated via Wikipedia articles on Judge Rotenberg Center and the Graduated Electronic Decelerator and on the official JRC website. NeuroClastic is a volunteer-led, autistic-led, newly formed non-for-profit without a single paid staff person. There is nothing we have claimed that has not been widely published on CNN, Washington Post, New York Magazine, The Guardian, the Center for Public Integrity, the New York Times, Fox News, the Boston Globe, and numerous other publications. We have evidence, the truth, integrity, a belief in the inexorable rights and dignity of our neurokin and community. And we're banking on ourselves and our community because we believe that people are more than their behaviors, because autistic and otherwise disabled people should not be silenced by force, because there is no place for torture and treatment, and because we do not perform compliance to the benefit of ourselves while leaving other people with less privilege to suffer. So do your worst. Our corporate headquarters is a laptop. That's our total material assets. Garnish our wages of $0, right? For God's sake. Waste our tiny budget on court fees. Do your worst. You destroyed your credibility as a reliable witness when you made the following claim. No JRC client has been harmed as a result of the JRC's behavioral treatment program, or in particular its use of skin shock. There is nothing more aversive to us than the knowledge that no one out there is willing or able to save us from the myriad cruel abuses the JRC has inflicted on the members of our community. If you want us to stop accusing you of torture, stop torturing disabled people. But you will do your worst in broad daylight. We are not bowing to paltry claims of defamation because the truth is more brutal and dark than any fiction we could fabricate. The autistic 13-year-old son of one of our board members was killed in a prone restraint by his teachers. Max Benson, Danny Oswald, 14-year-old autistic child, was killed in a prone restraint at JRC. Linda Cornelison was a 19-year-old non-speaking autistic. In 1995 years after Vincent Militek's death, 19-year-old Linda Cornelison had a perforated stomach ulcer, which was ignored by BRI staff for 2 days despite her expressions of pain. As Linda's pain worsened, her expressions of pain began to be treated as behaviors to be punished. Between 3:52 and 8 p.m., she was subjected to 56 physical adversities before the ambulance was finally called. She died 7 years, 2 months, and 88,719 adversives arrived in October 1984. Cobb is cited by Davies 2014. Fuck. These are our family members, our community, our NeuroChem. They deserve better. They deserve communication rights. They deserved safety. JRC, sue me too. Greg Santucci, an occupational therapist, started this hashtag JRC, sue me too. If you stand against JRC's use of torture, you can use this hashtag on social media when you post about the abuse at the JRC. Here it is, folks. Further, Gran Santucci started a GoFundMe to help us prepare to defend ourselves. Again, that's linked in the description box, guys. We appreciate the love, the solidarity, and the support we are receiving from the community, and are so grateful to everyone who stands with the disabled people subjected to this torture. We're grateful for you, NeuroClastic. I'm with you every single step of the way. Anything I can do. Action items. Visit https://judgerotenberg.center and use the available tools to urge Massachusetts lawmakers to pass H.225. This is coming up this month, folks, this month. Make sure they hear our displeasure about how they discard disabled lives. Ban electric shock therapy. Share or create social media posts using hashtag StopTheShock and JRC Sue Me Too. The court of public opinion creates accountability. Accountability is a predecessor of justice. Post to TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, YouTube, LinkedIn to voice your strong opposition of the GED. Tag reporters, influencers, orgs, politicians, and celebrities. Ask them to participate. Ask 10 friends to do the same. Use your art, your business, your voice, your skills, your words. Visit Lydia Brown's website for a living archive respiratory on the Judge Rotenberg Center's abuses. Again, linked in the description box, guys. To familiarize yourself with a long, arduous, devastating journey disabled activists have been engaged in for decades and witnessed the robust documentation of the horrors the JRC has inflicted on clients. All right. So that is our public statement, folks, and we are buckling ourselves down, getting ourselves ready for a fight. So, folks, we would appreciate your help, your shares. You just sharing that hashtag helps because somebody can click on it and find this information. We got to help fight these bastards. We cannot allow them to silence the evils of the Judge Rotenberg Center. And on that note, I'm going to close out for this afternoon. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. Few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. Do appreciate your time. And as always, we here at Smelling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.